welcome back to Tune Into Tarot with the Daily Drip, and the card of the day for Sunday is the Five of Swords. So the way I described this in the weekly forecast, if I can recall, let's see, it has to do with, hostility and anger, and that kind of threw me off a little bit. It's like, yeah, it just kind of threw me off. But this card can often have to do with the phrase win the battle but lose the war. So you may get into an argument on Sunday where you say some things that are unkind, and you may win the argument, but you're no closer to a resolution, and you may even be pushing that person you're involving in the argument further away, which may be going against what the goal. But upon further reflection, there was another twist to this card that came in, because I saw a quote today, and that quote said something along the lines of, when you stop resisting what is, the battle stops. And this card, it took me immediately to this card because this looks like a battle that's stopping. And so what I'm intuiting from that is stop resisting. Like, what are you resisting in your life? Because you're just making things harder for yourself. And then there's this other idea, which I'm kind of stealing from another tarot reader and channeler, which I was listening to recently, and he was talking about currents. So when you're looking at a current, or feeling or tuning into a current, like an energy current or wind current, and you kind of gauge where it's coming from and where it's going, rather than turn your back on that current and try to resist it, right? We're talking about the Eight of Cups too from earlier. It's like turning your back on something. When you turn your back on a strong current, it's just going to push you over, and like you end up flat on your face. But if you can turn to face the current, and let's just say you have wings, and you kind of open up to it and welcome it in, you can position your wings in such a way to where that energy, you can harness it, and it will actually elevate you. It will shoot you up, and somewhat effortlessly as well, as part of it. So resisting it is actually, it's almost fatal, because it's just going to push you over. So stop resisting the energy. Stop resisting where the energy is coming from and where it's going. Like, you want to turn to face it, and then reposition, or almost, I almost want to say pivot, but I can't stand that word, so I'm going to say reposition. So you reposition the cups and make it work for you. Make that situation work for you. You reposition your wings and your stance, and then you're able to utilize that energy for your growth. So I'm feeling that's more appropriate for this card. Like, that's ringing more true for me, rather than like this thing about hostility and anger. That doesn't feel true, although some of you may be dealing with that on Sunday. But I think it has more to do with like seeing what you're resisting in life, and try to reposition yourself in such a way to actually harness that energy and use it to fuel your growth. I feel like I use the same lines every week, but it's still relevant. So that concludes our week, and I will be talking to you soon for the weekly forecast and the next week's daily drips. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.